Question 1. In Australia, what fundamental principle ensures that everyone, including those in positions of power, is subject to the same laws? A. Majority rule. B. Parliamentary supremacy. C. The rule of law. D. Judicial review. Answers is C. The rule of law. The rule of law means that no one is above the law. This principle ensures fairness and equality in Australian society, holding all individuals and institutions accountable for their actions. Question 2. Who is required by law to vote in federal elections if they are an eligible Australian citizen aged 18 years or over? A. Only citizens aged 18 to 65. B. All eligible Australian citizens. C. Only naturalised citizens. D. Only citizens who pay taxes. Answers is B. All eligible Australian citizens. Voting in federal and local government elections is compulsory for all eligible Australian citizens aged 18 years or over. This ensures broad participation in Australia's democratic process. Question 3. What concept describes the deep spiritual connection and responsibility Indigenous Australians and Strait Islanders have with the land, sea and waterways? A. Indigenous land ownership. B. Native title claims. C. Cultural Heritage Act. D. Custodianship of country. Answers is D. Custodianship of country. Custodianship of country reflects the profound spiritual, cultural, and physical connection Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples have with their traditional lands and waters, embodying a responsibility to care for them. Question 4. When did the first fleet arrive in Australia, leading to the establishment of the first permanent European settlement at Sydney Cove? A. 1606. B. 1770. C. 1788. D. 1808. Answers is C. 1788. The first fleet, led by Captain Arthur Phillip, in Botany Bay in January 1788, before moving to Sydney Cove. This marked the beginning of European settlement in Australia and the founding of the colony of New South Wales. Question 5. Which specific constellation is represented by the group of 5 white stars on the right side of the Australian national flag? A. The Union Jack. B. The Commonwealth Star. C. The Southern Cross. D. The constellation Orion. Answers is C. The Southern Cross. The Southern Cross is a prominent constellation visible in the Southern Hemisphere, deeply significant to Australia. The Commonwealth Star is under the Union Jack, symbolising the federation of the states. Question 6. In what year did the 6 separate Australian unite to form the Commonwealth of Australia under one federal government? A. 1851. B. 1888. C. 1901. D. 1914. Answers is C. 1901. Federation occurred on 1 January 1901, creating the Commonwealth of Australia. This historic event brought the together as a unified nation under a federal system of government with its own constitution. Question 7. Who is Australia's head of state, as officially represented by her at the federal level? A. The Prime Minister. B. The King of Australia. D. The Chief Justice. Answers is C. The King of Australia. Australia is a constitutional monarchy. Our head of state is the King of Australia, who is represented by her at the federal level and by in each state. Question 8. Which core Australian value emphasises treating all individuals with dignity and courtesy, regardless of their background, culture or beliefs? A. Individualism. B. Tolerance. C. Respect. D. Fairness. Answers is C. Respect. Respect is a fundamental Australian value, promoting tolerance and understanding among people from diverse backgrounds. It encourages peaceful coexistence and mutual appreciation for different ways of life. Question 9. What is a key responsibility for eligible Australian citizens if they are called upon by a court to help decide a legal case? A. To attend public protests. B. To contribute to charity. C. To serve on a jury. D. To volunteer for community service. Answers is C. To serve on a jury. Serving on a jury is a civic duty and a fundamental aspect of Australia's justice system. It ensures that legal cases are decided by a of the community, representing diverse perspectives. Question 10. When is Anzac Day, a national day of remembrance for Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all wars, celebrated each year? A. 1 January, B. 26 January, C. 25 April, D. 11 November. Answers is C. 25 April. Anzac Day, on 25 April, honours the service and sacrifice of all Australians and New Zealanders who have served in wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations, particularly the Gallipoli campaign. Question 11. What is the capital city of the Australian state of New South Wales, the most populous state? A. Melbourne, B. Brisbane, C. Perth, D. Sydney. Answers is D. Sydney. Sydney is the capital city of New South Wales, known for its iconic Opera House and Harbour Bridge. It is a major economic and cultural hub of Australia and its largest city by population. Question 12. What term best describes Australia's diverse society, where people from many different cultural backgrounds live together and are generally respected? A. Assimilation, B. Integration, C. Globalization, D. Multiculturalism. Answers is D. Multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is a cornerstone of Australian identity, celebrating the cultural diversity brought by migration. It promotes social cohesion while respecting individual cultural heritage and traditions. Question 13. What significant impact did the gold rushes of the and beyond have on Australia's development and population? A. Establishment of parliamentary democracy. B. Decreased population in rural areas. C. Increased migration and economic growth. D. Decline of primary. Answers is C. Increased migration and economic growth. The gold rushes brought a massive influx of migrants from around the world, significantly boosting Australia's population and economy. This period led to the rapid growth of towns, infrastructure, and a more diverse society. Question 14. What key document, the framework for Australia's federal government, outlines its powers and defines the relationship between the Commonwealth and the states? A. The Magna, B. The Bill of Rights, C. The Australian Constitution, D. The Treaty of Versailles. Answers is C. The Australian Constitution. The Australian Constitution came into effect on 1 January 1901. It is the supreme law under which Australia is governed, dividing powers between the federal parliament and the state parliaments, and defining the structure of government. Question 15. What are the names of the two houses that make up the Australian Federal Parliament? A. The Parliament and the Assembly. B. The House of Commons and the House of Lords. C. The House of and the Senate. D. The Legislative Council and the Legislative Assembly. Answers is C. The House of and the Senate. The Australian Parliament is bicameral, consisting of the House of the Lower House and the Senate the Upper House. Both houses must agree for a proposed law bill to be passed. Question 16. Which fundamental Australian value allows individuals to freely express their opinions and beliefs, provided they do not incite hatred or break existing laws? A. Freedom of assembly, B. Freedom of religion, C. Freedom of movement, D. Freedom of speech. Answers is D. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a key democratic right in Australia, allowing open discussion and debate. However, it is not absolute and does not protect speech that incites violence, hatred, defamation, or threatens public safety. Question 17. What two native Australian animals are depicted supporting the shield on the official Australian coat of arms? A koala and a cockatoo, B. A kangaroo and an emu, C. A dingo and a possum, D. A platypus and a wombat. Answers is B. A kangaroo and an emu. The Australian coat of arms features a shield held by a kangaroo and an emu, both native Australian animals that cannot easily walk backwards, symbolising a nation always moving forward. The golden wattle is also featured. Question 18. What is the national capital city of Australia, home to the Parliament House? A. Sydney, B. Melbourne, C. Canberra, D. Brisbane. Answers is C. Canberra. Canberra was chosen as the national capital as a compromise between rival Sydney and Melbourne. It is in the Australian Capital Territory Act and is home to many national institutions. Question 19. Which distinct group of Indigenous Australians primarily reside on islands in the strait between the tip of Queensland and Papua New Guinea? A. People, B. People, C. Strait Islanders, D. People. Answers is C. Strait Islanders. Strait Islanders are one of the two distinct Indigenous peoples of Australia. They have a unique culture and traditions separate from Aboriginal Australians, deeply connected to the sea and island life. Question 20. What is a legal responsibility for parents of children aged between 6 and 17 years in Australia to ensure they receive adequate learning? A. To teach children at home, B. To ensure their children attend school, C. To provide vocational training at home, D. To enroll children in extracurricular. Answers is B. To ensure their children attend school. Have a legal responsibility to ensure their children attend school regularly or receive approved until they reach a certain age, usually 17, depending on the state or territory laws. Question 21. What is the title of the leader of the political party or coalition that wins the majority of seats in the House of and forms the government? A. The Speaker of the House, C. The Chief Justice, D. The Prime Minister. Answers is D. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the head of government in Australia. They lead the executive branch and are typically the leader of the party or coalition that commands the support of the majority of members in the House of. Question 22. When is Australia Day, the official national day of Australia, commemorating the arrival of the First Fleet in 1788, celebrated? A. 1 January, B. 26 January, C. 11 March, D. 25 April. Answers is B. 26 January. Australia Day is celebrated on 26 January each year. It marks the anniversary of the 1788 arrival of the First Fleet and the raising of the Union flag at Sydney Cove by Captain Arthur Phillip, signifying the start of European settlement. Question 23. Which fundamental Australian value ensures that all people are treated fairly, have the same, and are free from discrimination? A. Opportunity, B. Tolerance, C. Compassion, D. Equality. Answers is D. Equality. Equality is a cornerstone of Australian society, meaning that everyone should have the same rights and be treated fairly under the law, regardless of their background, gender, religion, or beliefs. Question 24. Which are the capital of the Northern Territory and the capital of the Australian Capital Territory, respectively? A. Perth and Adelaide, B. and Canberra, C. Hobart and Brisbane, D. Sydney and Melbourne. Answers is B. and Canberra is the capital of the Northern Territory, a major gateway to Asia and the top end. Canberra is the capital of the Australian Capital Territory Act and the national capital of Australia.